Hey everyone, today we're going to be making some beautiful flower and leaf diyas. So here's what we're going to need. We're going to be needing a pair of scissors and some clay. So to start, I'm going to be breaking off some clay. I broke around this much clay, which now I'll make into a nice ball, just by rolling my hands. The ball doesn't have to be perfect, just like this will be good. You can see that it's about the thickness of my 2 fingers. Now what we're going to do is we're just going to place this and we're going to take our thumb and we're just going to push it inside. Make sure you don't push all the way. You want to keep some thickness so that the diya doesn't break. Then you're just going to press. Continue pressing around the diya. Use your thumb and put it inside so that you can make a kind of a circular bottom. Make sure that you do not leave any nail marks. Now you can see we are done with our base. Now we have to keep this base aside and we're going to be working on the petals of the flower. So to make a petal, all I do is I just take some clay and then I roll it. Kind of roll it not into a ball, but kind of into a cylinder. Then after you've rolled it into like this nice shape, you can just flatten it. Now all we're going to do is we're going to take our scissors. We're first going to take this out. And then we're going to take our scissors and cut it in half. We are now done with 2 petals. Now we're just going to continue this process for the rest of our petals. So now I have to make my last 2 petals. I'm making 10 petals, but you can make more if you want or less if you want. Now we have to put these petals onto the base. So once again, if the clay is sticking to the mat or your hands, be sure to use some oil or Vaseline. Now that we're going to be sticking the petals onto this base, you can use some water, but because these clay pieces are pretty moist, I'm not going to be using any water. So let's start. Let's bring our base back to the center and let's grab a petal. You might want to grab the smaller ones for the inside and the bigger ones for the outside. Now for the first petal, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take scissors and just make a tiny slit over here. You can see that it's about halfway through the petal, and now I can just put it like that. Now I can just press it like this. Now I have to add the other petals. I'm going to take the smaller ones for the inside and the bigger ones for the outside. Now I can just curve this a little so that I can just go inside and push. I'm going to put 4 on the inside and 6 on the outside. Now once you've got all 4 of these insides, just see these joints where both the petals overlap. Press over there so that it'll stick towards the base. Once you've connected all these petals, kind of push them down. That way they look like petals. Now we're going to be adding the outside petals. To do this, I'm just going to take one petal and just put it on the outside and just push these two corners. I'm going to push the middle later when I'm done attaching all 6 petals. Now you might want to first put it in different directions and then make it like this petal overlaps both, or you might want to make it just overlaps on one side. I have 2 petals left to attach. You can see that as we attach more and more petals, some of the petals are beginning to crack. You can just smoothen these petals out by taking some water, dipping your finger in it, and then just smoothing it. Now you can see that we're done with attaching all of the petals. Now we're going to be smoothing it so that it has a better finish. Once again, I'm going to be pressing over here so that the petals will actually connect to the base, and so that when it dries, the petals will not fall. You can see that in some parts we can see our base, so we just want to use the petal to cover our base. So now you can see that we're done attaching our petals to the base. Now what we're going to do is we're going to make it so that these petals won't fall. To do that, we're just going to turn this around and put it on its bottom. You can see that the petals over here are not well attached. To do that, we're just going to place it, take your finger, and then smoothen it. You can use water if the clay is cracking. So you can see that this over here is nice and smooth, just like how we want it. You can see that I've smoothened it all out. You also want to make sure that your base over here is not drooping, because that means that it's too thin. You can see that our beautiful flower Diya looks like this. Now for finishing touches, we're just going to be adding some lines here to show petals. To do that, I'm just going to take those scissors that I had, open them like this. Be careful to not hit your hand. I'm just going to make some lines. You can see that we've added our line marks using the scissors. Now we're done with our flower Diya. Now we're going to be making our leaf Diya. So now we put our flower Diya aside, and now we're going to be starting by making our leaf Diya. So to start, just take a little bit of clay. You can see that we took about this much. Now we're just going to roll this. And you don't want to roll this to a ball, but kind of more like an oval. You can see that now I finished. Now what we're going to do is we're just going to put this like this, and then we're going to take our finger and once again push. And then this time we're going to have to keep the leaf Diya we're going to have to make it like the shape of a leaf, so we're going to like bend our fingers to curve. You can see that slowly it's getting to the leaf shape. Just make sure that these don't get too thin, but otherwise don't worry if it's up and down, we'll fix that later. Now you can see that we've got our overall leaf shape. Now I'm just going to add a pinch over here so that this will kind of be the stem of the leaf. Now the next thing what we're going to do is to smoothen this, we're just going to take our scissors and just cut the top part. So I'm just going to take this, and I can just cut the top layer. Now after we've done that, to make it have a more natural look, we're just going to put our finger and kind of roll it a little bit, like smoothen the edges so that it doesn't look too sharp. Now you can see we're kind of done with our leaf Diya. We just have to add the lines and the design on top. To do that, I'm just going to take my scissors and hold it in my hand, and then using my scissors, I'm just going to make a line across it. Once again, I'm going to hold it like this, and I can just make a line. Now I'm just going to add 3 lines like this way, and 3 lines this way. Now we're done with the inside lines. Now we're just going to be adding a little design on these edges over here. To do that, I'm just going to take a pencil and push. You can see that when I push, little designs are being created here. You can see that now we're done with our leaf Diya. Make as many as you want of the flower Diyas and leaf Diyas, and then you can just arrange them to different designs. You can see that I made a lot of flower Diyas and leaf Diyas. You can see that I've also made them in different sizes, like this one's bigger and this one's smaller, and same with the leaves, like this one's bigger and then this one's smaller. Now I'm just going to show you a few ways you can arrange it. You can see that this one's a pretty design, and if you want, you could add the big one in the center. Okay, let me just move it a little. Like that. You can see that you can make as many as you want, and you can design it as in plenty of ways. It's basically your choice. And then after these dry, you can also paint them into beautiful colors. You can see that you can put it in a lot of arrangements. And once these dry, you can leave them in this color, or you can paint them. It's basically your choice. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. Thank you.